A lot of times on the channel, we do stuff like 5 hidden gems, 5 songs to start with. Every so often, we will, I don't know, I guess, peek behind the curtain some and say, like, this is my favorite of this, right? I don't know if this is not necessarily maybe a ranking, but it's your 5 favorite. From a decade where I think arguably the organ's biggest time to shine in rock music, I think, is the 60s. Today, Lauren is going to share 5 of her favorite organ riffs of the 60s, which is a big thing. Like, there's a lot of organ riffs in the 60s.
There's a lot of organ riffs in the 60s. I wish there were. This is probably why I like 60s music so much, because I love the sound of a good, organ doing its thing.
Now, there are ones on here that I think people are going to be like, well, yeah. But there's at least a couple that I think people are going to be like, oh, I didn't think about that one. Yeah.
So the first one that I have is A Whiter Shade of Pale by Procol Harum. And, here's the thing. As an organist, you kind of grow up being like, oh, yeah, Bach is the guy. And what's very interesting about the organ riff that drives A Whiter Shade of Pale is that it's lifted from some Bach compositions.
Right.
So I just think that's very neat, because it's kind of recognizing, like, the importance of the history of the instrument, but modernizing it.
I don't mean to oversimplify your point, but to me, that's like when you hear a younger guitar player do anything on a song that's like influenced by Eddie.
Yeah.
And it's an homage type thing. Yeah. For me, this is embarrassing, but for me, Whiter Shade of Pale is totally Big Chill. Like, I never heard the song until the Big Chill soundtrack. And then, of course, because of the movie High Fidelity, it's like immediate disqualification because it's its inclusion in the Big Chill, right? So, like, I love this song.
Yeah.
But when I hear it, I immediately hear Jack Black saying that in my head. So
that's funny.
But anyways, the next one, I think this next one, well, I don't think this is a song I think when people hear it, they'll go, oh yeah. But by the name, I bet most people are going to be like, what song is she talking about?
Yeah, so you're going to have to look it up. But I'm talking about 96 Tears by Question Mark and the Mysterians.
Yep.
And, man, such a weird group, such a weird vibe, such a weird song, such a fun riff.
Everything about it is so weird, but great.
Yes.
Like, or actually, I should say great, then weird. You know, like, this is a song, like Lauren was saying, like, if you don't know, look it up. Like, if you don't know 96 Tears by name, if you go on YouTube and just type in 96 Tears, I would argue within 3 seconds, you will say, oh, I totally know this one. But yeah, the whole thing, and really that, in the first 10 seconds, that's what you hear through the entirety of even the walking bass line, the doo-doo-doo-doo, like it's all, everything you're going to hear is right there.
Yep. And it's totally driven by the organ. And a fun fact for me is that the organist on this, Frank Rodriguez, was 14 when he laid down this organ track. I just think that's so cool.
Yep. Yeah, we had just yesterday, and we'll do another video on this artist in the future, but we were talking yesterday about Wendy Melvoin. And a lot of people don't realize that she was 19 when she recorded the guitar parts for Purple Rain.
Yep.
So when you think about, like, it's like, oh, wow, that's impressive, till you realize this kid makes her look like a slacker.
Totally.
Yeah, Now, the next one, I think, is one that most people, again, after you say it, would go, oh, yeah, but I don't think most people would think of this first.
Yeah, it's Give Me Some Lovin' by Spencer Davis Group, talking about another teenager doing their thing on the organ, Steve Winwood.
Yeah, who would go on to be known for many great things.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, this is one that I think, if you regular watch this channel, a lot of times people will leave us comments and be like, oh, I knew you were going to pick that, or how'd you leave that one out, or whatever, which is what we love, by the way, the interaction in the comments on the channel. But with this one, I would be surprised if a lot of people thought of this one. And I feel like it's one that if you said, give me your top 5, and somebody listed it off, and then you say, give me some love, and everybody in the room will be like, oh, I should have, I should have had that one.
And it's not like there's a lot of like virtuosic, like noodling going on, or like runs or anything like that. It's the riff that drives the song, and it's so powerful and simple.
It's the riff and the feeling. You know what I mean? Now, the next two, I think, are ones that when anybody who even saw this thumbnail was probably like, well, this one's going to be on there. But that doesn't mean they get discounted.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Hush by Deep Purple.
Yep, moving on. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think that, yes, it is super obvious, but also there's so much that, like, you really have to kind of pay attention, be like, I'm listening for the organ now, and you hear more than you get kind of at face value with it, and it's awesome.
And then the last one on your list is one that I think that too, it's not simple by any means, but we've all heard it so many times. that it seems remedial by this point because you've heard it so many times.
Right.
But when you really, really listen to it, you're like, man. And that's, of course, the organ stylings of Raymond Daniel Manzarek on the song
Light My Fire by The Doors. And, yes, it's got that amazing, what he's doing in the beginning and the intro of the song and all that. But my favorite part of it is how the riff on the organ in the verses of the song mirrors the way Jim Morrison is singing.
Right.
It's like they were doing it together. It's like a weird duet in a way, and I think it's awesome.
That, and at least for me, this is something I've always taken from it, is with the lyrics, of course, being dark, and it's to quote, well, it's not quoting Robbie Krieger, but from the movie The Doors, when Robbie says, well, I figured if I was going to compete with your stuff, it had to be about snakes and fire and death, right? And but it's if you listen to the underneath the verse of that, when Jim is singing about all this fire and snakes and death, Ray Manzarek is playing. It's almost like a funeral sound, like to me. It sounds like underneath there. And if you watch the Doors movie, Ray Manzarek wrote all of this music in 14 seconds. So, which, as we know, that movie is totally factual.
Yep, all the facts.
But anyways, like I said, this is a very big topic. There's so much great organ from the 60s, but I think Lauren nailed it. I think these are great songs from the 60s. And for once, this is one of those videos where we go, no, this is our favorites. And I don't disagree with any of her choices. So we always say on these videos, like, hey, leave a comment and everything. Let us know what you think of these picks or anything we had to say about all these picks, or some of yours. Hopefully you have some that you leave that we go, oh, we didn't even think about that one either. Or what you think of picks like Give Me Some Lovin' that we think maybe you hadn't thought of. So if you would please drop those comments, drop a like on the video. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.